to do workshops and stuff like this. If I could teach somebody and then say, okay, go. You know, and I wish it was that way, but it's not. So the transfer is it varies from person to person. Some people transfer easier. Some people, like Alec, have a really hard time transferring. But it can be done with anybody. It takes a lot of work, but it can be done. So I'm going to go over the steps kind of quickly. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, why is spelling important? Like, if the kid can spell, what's the spelling concept?
Of our CAM?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because what I'm finding is, okay, you can choose an answer, you know, you'll see the steps, and I'm going to show some videos in a little bit. You'll see, okay, he can show that he understands by, you know, me asking him a question and then me giving him 3 or 4 choices and he's choosing. And then he's spelling it, but, okay, that's good. But then the more you get, the further you get in the steps, he's starting to spell his independent thoughts. Like, in the beginning, I might say, the sky is blue. What did I say? And he picks blue. And then we go B-L-U-E, and he spells blue. Okay.
That's the part. Like, why is the B-L-U-E important?
Because it's going to lead him to be able to do from one word, then to a sentence, and then to answer maybe a vocabulary. Before I get to really conversational things, I'm going to have him do it in steps. I'm going to have him go from one-word answers, then maybe, oh, can you tell me that in a sentence? Then from there we go to, oh, okay, they use the word poison here. Can you tell me a different word for poison? So he's got to pull that word out of his mind, and he's got to spell it, and that's not my word. So then he's showing I have vocabulary, and then from there I go to more open-ended, and then I go to conversation. So eventually they're able, by starting one word at a time, to spell. Now some people, I go through the steps so fast. One guy, he was 20 at the time when I started with him. One session, he went from the first step to, I can't remember if he was on, I think he was on a board like this, in the first session. Because he was so ready to, like, okay, I know this, I can spell. You know, his parents didn't think he knew how to spell. But in the very first session, you know, he showed that he could. Now, some of you know that your kids can spell. So in that case, we might move faster, depending on, like, if it's facilitated and they're used to, you know, like you said, you were saying, your daughter is so used to having someone hold, you know, or, you know, touch her at the elbow. That may or may not be an issue for her today. I don't know. We'll have to check it out. But I know she can spell, so I know, you know, so we might move faster through those steps if you're certain, and I can see that your child can spell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would this help in word retrieval?
It does, and there are. I have some people who, you know, are nonverbal, and they can get they can spell, they can answer the questions. I have some people who are semi-verbal, like they have some words, but the wrong words come out, and then it is like a word retrieval thing because they want to say, you know, I want water, and they're saying, you know,
I don't want to.
yeah, right, and it's the wrong thing, and then they get mad when you bring in the water because it's not what I wanted, and that's not what I meant to say, and they're totally frustrated. So, by spelling though, I have one guy, and he's got quite a bit of verbal. He can have conversations if he starts a conversation like, oh, how old is your dog? You know, what's his name? And he can do that. But if I ask him a question, he can't. It's word retrieval, you know, but he can spell it. So I have learned with him, and it took a little while for him to be able to do it, but I said, you don't have to say it. It's okay. The words will come, and it'll help. And now he's answering a little more accurately with his verbal, but the words will come. So I say, you don't have to say it, because he gets totally frustrated when he's trying to talk. So you don't have to say it. I say that to Alec a lot. You don't have to say it, because he has words that just pop out of his, you know. So spell it. And guess what? He can spell beautifully. His mom was sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is really amazing. And so at school, though, he's frustrated because the teachers are giving him low work because they think he doesn't know anything. And they haven't yet tried RPM. She showed them videos, but, in the beginning stages.
So with the verbal kids who know how to spell, you will not use any of this, right?
Well, I will start with these, just because it's a starting point, and quickly move through them. I assess motor skills, I assess, comprehension and everything in the first session, and Soma does too. I always start with these, but I say, this is too easy for you. This is too easy.
My son get frustrated because it's too easy.
Okay, and if it is, then I move on. Okay, so to start on the board like this, when I know that he can spell, but it's different, and I'm different, and just to put this in front of him and go, okay, it might work, but I don't want to frustrate him right off the bat. So I'll just say, some of this stuff might be easy. If it's easy, we move on. If not, we. So.
I had a question.
Sure.
Have you seen any advanced FC writers transition to RPM?
That's a good question.
I have a couple of people who were doing FC, and their parents came to me and said, you know what, we want to try this because school doesn't believe that he's really communicating with me. So I have a little guy who has transferred. He's still having a hard time with Mom though because he's so used to her doing the FC and doing it, but she's trying. So they're working through that. And then an older guy, who's like 20-something, he was very resistant at first. But I just say the first or second, I think it was the second session he was able to get out his, like a free thought, and but it still was, he was looking for, so the looking for the support doesn't go away right away. So I can't say that it's going to be so really easy or not, because I don't know your daughter, but we'll see. And I'm hoping, and I know you said there's some anxiety and, to work through those kind of things.
What is FC?
Facilitates communication. So that's support. One thing about RPM, FC starts with the hand, right? I have somebody who hand over hand goes like this with their son, and he's moving his hand, but she's supporting him. Then I think you back the support, back, and then
To the
up
shoulder,
here,
the shoulder.
yeah,
To the
and
head.
then hopefully you back yourself out. You guys know all
Yes.
about that. So it's, people look at it as similar to RPM, but it's got more support. One thing about RPM is I do air prompting, which is like, if he's going for the J and he's not getting there,